Hello there everyone, welcome back to another Ascension Guidance Reading for the Equinox Gateway. Okay, so this equinox is of course going to be the spring equinox for us in the Northern Hemisphere. Those of you who are in the Southern Hemisphere, this is the autumn equinox or fall equinox. Either way, this is a time of balance. Okay, so that's the common theme with both of the equinoxes. It's a balancing frequency. Both light and shadow are going to be equal on these days. What that basically means in like physical scientific terms, we are having equal day and night, hence the name equinox. Equinox, nox meaning night, and equa is just equal. So the night is equal length to the day, and we are having a balance of light and shadow. And depending on where you are, it either marks the increasing of the day towards the summer for spring equinox, and for autumn equinox it's the preparation for the winter. So therefore the light is going to decrease from equinox forward for the southern hemisphere. Okay, so that's kind of the key differences. We are either getting into increase of light, or we are going into increase of night. And so there are we can experience both of these frequencies at the same time, really, because life is quantum. Okay, life is multidimensional, quantum and mystical and magical, so we can experience both themes of the spring equinox and autumn equinox at the same time if we are living in a very multidimensional way. And some other differences: the spring equinox is generally moving into a time of renewal, rebirth, fertility, growth, new growth, so revival. We are getting into that revival state. And on the autumn equinox, on the other hand, it's about sharing. It is about letting go, releasing. So as we know, in the autumn, the trees drop their leaves, and this is them basically shedding these layers that they have built over the summer. And of course, the autumn equinox also being the second harvest of the season. So this is when we are still also gathering these fruits of our labors. So if during the first harvest festival, during Lunasad or Lamas, we were taking our first stock, now we are taking our second stock, and we're also sharing it with people. And the same kind of thing can also apply for the spring equinox, but it's in a different way. Like, this could be us sort of propagating our new plants, and maybe we are sharing some pieces of our plants with our friends. This can either be figurative or literal. And of course, in the spring, oftentimes people will do spring cleaning. A lot of us pagans, I'm not only pagan, that's not like my only perspective, but it's one of the ways that I can see the world. We have already been doing spring cleaning from like starting from the last cross quarter, so from the last so from Imbolc. The spring equinox is pretty strong spring cleaning time, but it continues for a lot of populations until the summer months arrive. And so this time frame, by the way, I didn't mention that, this time frame is going to be from the 20th of March until the 30th, or either the 30th of April or the 1st of May. That is when we then celebrate Beltane as well as Samhain. So that is the time frame, the next 6 weeks basically. This is our Ascension guidance, and today I'm going to go without any spread, but I'm going to pull a few cards for those of you that are watching, and anyone new who wishes to dive into the magic with me, who wishes to dive into energy work and this ascension process with us over here. And so I have already shuffled the deck, and we're also doing it without crystals this time, so now you will just have to pick pile number 1, 2, or 3. A little bit of switching it up today, and lots of just free-flowing energy. I will give you a moment to pick your card, and then we will move on to pile number 1. Pile number 1, let's go. I'll just do it like this. So your first card is Peace. Then you've got Express the True You. No need to hide behind those wounds. And Heart Coherence. And revealing the bottom of your deck is Attunements. Alright. So for a lot of you, first of all, the word attunement, it just popped out right at the gate. So you are being attuned into this new frequency of peace. And for a lot of you, this has to do with, again, letting go of wounded ways of being, wounded ways of thinking, wounded ways of expressing yourself, and coming into more heart coherence here. So what heart coherence really is, it means that we are working in coherence with our heart. Everything is being sort of attuned. Yes, it is being attuned to the frequency of our hearts, and we are being sort of awakened to this frequency that our heart wants us to move in the world and through the world and through the life, really, that we are meant to be moving in. And it's almost like the light of our heart just expands into our whole beingness, and it starts to create this new paradigm for us to work in and to really live through. And that magnificent life force of the heart is something that then starts to heal our beingness. It starts to bring us into this different level of transparency. And it can be quite vulnerable at times, actually. It can really be, because it takes off all of the armor, and it takes off all of this sort of unnecessary need to protect ourselves, and it brings a different kind of safety into our beingness. And that's why it can feel sometimes a bit vulnerable, or like a bit almost soft and kind of like sensitive, if that makes sense. And it can, you're not going to need to have such a strong need to defend yourself. And as a result of this, the energy of peace is emanating through you and from you. The peace really does come from within, and because we are coming more in tune with our heart center, and we're becoming more into this coherence with the heart frequencies, the heart center, the high heart, as well as the lower heart frequencies in its most highest essence. And we're using our heart as a portal for this love and this peace and this divine essence. Of course, all of those words in their most purest frequency, in a frequency of, divine essence. That is where that peace comes from. The peace comes from the knowingness and the, what is the word I'm looking for? It's sort of very this immersive experience when that divine love and when that divine essence sort of pours out of us. And it is all very possible for each and every one of us. Okay, so whoever is watching pile number 1, if you have felt like this is not possible for you, I can guarantee that it is possible. I mean, I almost experience this on a daily basis because I have practice set for it. I have practice set for receiving divine frequencies, and the more I do the practice, the easier it is, you know. And so, if you don't have a practice to connect with your heart, I would highly recommend you come up with one. Perhaps you can sort of course, make things your own as much as possible. But I have several practices on my channel that always start with the connection of the heart center, and most of my energy work videos also start with that, just because it is always important to attune things with your specific heart so that you may receive the frequencies, obviously, in a way that highest serve you as well. Because yes, I am here in service, I am providing things that will help people, so I will not want to force any frequencies your way, and that's why also consent is always, you know, necessary in these things. And this attunement, attuning things to your heart, that seems to also actually be a really relevant message for you, for those of you that are watching Pile 1. The attuning things to your specific heart, whether it's your human heart, your high heart, and again, human heart, that can refer to either the lower heart center, it can also refer to your physical heart, and the high heart center refers to, again, the portal to source, portal to your higher self, your higher self connection, and your oversoul connection, other things like that. And then we have other heart centers. Actually, we also have the solar heart center, which connects us to the sun, and it can also help us. Actually, the higher heart and the solar heart, as well as the galactic heart, can all help us connect with the crystalline frequencies. And the galactic heart is specific for starseeds. So starseeds are able to connect to the galactic heart. Starseeds are able to connect to, first of all, our star family, our galactic origins, as well as our other galactic points that are very important for us. And these can be many different things, many different celestial objects and spaces and places. But also the galactic heart grid here on planet Earth, and the human heart grid also is another one that we can connect through just our heart center. And so, because our hearts, whether it's, you know, human, whether it's solar, whether it's crystalline, higher heart or galactic hearts, they create grids on the planet. So then it's like a human grid or a starseed grid. So that might be also important for you to consider with this heart coherence frequency. And this can also help maybe explain some relationship stuff. Okay, we're in the Venus retrograde until mid-April, I think. So in this season, you're going to need to ask yourself many times, are these interactions, these relationships, these values, these valuable things, for example, these investments or these objects, whatever you're dealing with, are these things aligned with my heart? Are they in coherence with my heart? Are they meaningful on a heart-based level? Because that is one of the themes of Venus retrograde, and at its highest peak frequency, it can allow us great realignment opportunities, because it can help us let go of what definitely isn't serving us, and it can help us reevaluate where certain things are sort of set in our lives. So let's take a relationship example, so we can see, for example, where perhaps a relationship, either we want to tweak it up, maybe it isn't quite fulfilling as it could be, but it could be, so we can have a chance to perhaps improve it, or we might have a chance to, reassess if it's going to be a necessary relationship anymore. And I don't mean necessary as in sort of like dismissing the value, but like the value of people or anything. But I mean, we grow out of people sometimes, and that's totally okay. So that can be something that's going on for some of you at this time. So you might need to kind of reassess if you have perhaps grown out of relationships, if they are serving or are not. Like sometimes there can be these weird dynamics that just build between people, and it just kind of happens, and we don't necessarily have that much control over that. And so if that has perhaps happened, it can either be a time to correct that, whichever way it's going to be corrected, and I'll leave that up to your discernment as to what's going to be the right choice that you're going to be making. And again, when it comes to like objects or valuable things, we could maybe be letting go of certain like physical objects, or even different like assets. I'm not sure how I feel about using that word, but I mean, we all have kind of different assets, don't we? Like, yeah, there's different things that we have around us. So it might be a good time to feel into those things, feel into your heart, get really coherent and sort of attuned to what your heart center is wanting to bring about in this world, and allow yourself to experience this new peaceful frequency. This might be another level of peace that you are experiencing. You have perhaps experienced peace before, but this is a different level, okay? You will just have to be really connected with your heart center in order to feel this frequency, and in order to make the most out of this next 6 weeks. And you will be able to, heal a lot. You will, oh my god. You will be able to have much more authentic relationships and connections as a result of this. Next 6 weeks. So authenticity is another theme that is popping up for you, and it is there for a reason. It's there to remind you that you don't need to deal with unnecessary bullshit. You don't need to have your peace disrupted unnecessarily, and you don't need to deal with hostility in your life, because it's just not fair, and it's not the best that you could get, right? Obviously, sometimes there is conflict, even among like very good friends and stuff. There can be conflict, but it should be able to be resolved peacefully without without hostility, without getting overly personal, without getting and I mean, these things can sometimes feel very personal, but if we are able to be self-aware, then and emotionally mature, then we're going to be able to solve conflict peacefully, and we're going to be able to solve conflict while again respecting everyone's emotions and not getting abusive or toxic about it. Okay, so that sort of wraps up your reading. And if you want to keep watching, you can of course watch the following pause, but this is it for now. The seems to be an attunement for your heart field and your heart coherence. Thank you very much for watching, and if you would like to know when new readings are going to be available, please sign up to my newsletter. I will be informing there when readings will resume. If you're new here, by the way, please subscribe and give this video a thumbs up as a sign of appreciation. And I will see you in the next video. Pile number 2, here we go. Ooh. So for the next 6 weeks, this is your theme. Okay, this is where we're going. Pretty interesting. Alright. So, you all who picked pile number 2 have deconditioned from the matrix. Then you have galactic alignments. Then you have be the beam of light in that space, as well as the bottom of the deck, the oneness, multidimensionality, and the higher self. And the message that is coming through is the oneness, multidimensional, and higher self. That seems to be the card that sort of weaves all of these things together. And you're being reminded that you are one with everything, even with the matrix. Wow. and that's the interesting thing about this card. You know, this is it's a decondition from the matrix. So deconditioning from the matrix happens when we come in full contact with the oneness. And it also has this interesting paradoxical side of the coin to it, that you're still one with the matrix, sort of. Well, maybe not one with the matrix, but you're still like you're in the world but not of it, right? And while we may not, resonate with the matrix anymore, we're still going to kind of understand that is still existing in the same universe with us. There is a certain level at which a person can experience oneness with sort of absolutely everything. And I feel like there could be a taste of that coming your way. And I think it's important to understand really what are the parts of your consciousness that are perhaps still clinging to the lower matrix and sort of clinging into these outdated ideas, outdated modes. Like, I'm getting this mode, there's a certain mode or certain way of operation that those of you that are watching pile 2 have been navigating life through. And this mode has now been sort of coming in the way of experiencing this higher oneness and this higher connection with your multidimensional self and your higher self, and just the multidimensional experience of life itself. And it's important to really get into that deconditioning process now. When you allow yourself to really receive the multidimensional aspect of reality, you're going to have a much easier time connecting with not just the galactic objects, but also your galactic higher self, for example, so your starseed self and your galactic guides, your star family. And there could be some like old earth, old paradigm, matrix frequencies that are maybe kind of messing with your connection with the galactics. And I don't mean messing as in this has to be like a psychic attack or spiritual warfare or whatever. But what I mean is there could be certain belief systems, there could be some thought forms, some collective egregores that perhaps may be feeding into certain perspectives that you may have about the galactics, whether it be positive, whether it be negative, right? It could be something as simple as the distortion of believing that aliens are gods, or that the aliens are going to rescue us, or something like this, like something that's created to give your power away, or something that's sort of intergalactic racism, which happens, honestly. Right, so moving on, that was quite a spill right there in the beginning of the video. And again, I wouldn't really want to, people are where they are, obviously, and they have their perspectives for a reason, but I think it's important, especially in this very polarized season of Earth that we are in. It's going to be really important for us to remember to be the light, beam of light in the space, first of all. That is in your cards. But to remember to have that higher perspective, and to really not give in to these really hostile and these really hateful energies that only really want to have a power imbalance, that only really want to use that sort of luge and that negative life force for their own ends, that want to just spin us out of control, right? They want to separate us for a reason, okay? It's because that gives them more power, right? First of all, it's distracting us from our collective mission, right? Because as starseeds, if we are here raising the frequency of the planet, we're not going to be raising it if we are being distracted by the negativity of the world, if we are being distracted by the polarization of, say, politics, if we are going to be distracted by just everything that seems to be going wrong in the world, right? If we are being constantly distracted by the external reality, we are then giving more attention to the external reality. We're not giving attention to our own light, to our own heart, to our own mission. We're not giving attention to our joys and things that actually help us be, our highest versions. That are helping us express our most highest frequencies, our most highest realities. That's again helping us to bring that oneness on planet Earth, bring that unity consciousness, bring that connective light and that connective frequency. So yes, it is going to be really important for those of you that are watching pile number 2 to really make sure that you keep that higher perspective in mind. You keep in your heart also, of course. you keep at the forefront your higher self's intention, as well as the higher frequencies of oneness, and allowing yourself to really play with this multidimensionality and with this galactic frequencies at their highest and most pure connection, at their highest and most pure frequencies. And you're not really letting the matrix conditioning come in the way of galactic connection and with aligning with the galactic sort of movements of the celestial objects, because that is going to allow you to bring more light into the world. And even if you are in a situation, or if it's like a chosen thing, because I know that for a lot of us, we like to still participate in things that are necessarily spiritual, that aren't necessarily created with that intention in mind, and we might frequent these so-called 3D spaces. Again, I don't really know if I like that phrasing, because I believe that everything deep down is always multidimensional, so it's not like one place is more 3D than the other, but there's like different frequency bandwidths going on in different places, and there's different sort of, let's say, places are different vessels for different frequencies. So for some places may not be that much of a vessel for spiritual awakening or spiritual evolution or ascension, etc. So even if you go to those places, go there with your entire light. Just go there. Okay, of course, be responsible and take care of yourself, everything, all those good things, but just be you. Be as much you as you can be, and don't let yourself be bogged down by perhaps these matrix conditionings. Be willing to offer a new perspective, okay? Because a lot of times people will believe that things are the way they are because they're supposed to be the way they are, or something like that. Like it's really a weird logic that I have a hard time really even grasping myself anymore, because I've sort of plugged out of that. You know, there's a whole lot more possibilities that we can offer for people, and I think this is like an encouragement to do that. I think this reading is an encouragement for those of you that are watching pile number 2 to offer a new perspective, to offer a different way to look at things, and to offer maybe a more high vibrational perspective on something, whatever that is, and to come into more of that, you know, glow here, and to sort of regain your life. I'm sort of getting this sort of frequency impression that some of you may be regaining and revitalizing your life a lot at this time, and a part of that has to do with the galactic alignments. So, and again, just to wrap this up, it just remember to decondition from the matrix enough, because that will then allow you to feel these higher frequencies at much more ease. Okay, so that is your reading. I hope you loved it. If you did, leave me a comment down below. And if you would like to get a reading like this, but just personalized, just for you, subscribe to my newsletter. I will inform over there when readings are available again. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. And if you want, you can watch the other readings in this pickacard. And other than that, I will see you in the next video. Stay inspired. Pile number 3, here we go. Okay, this is very interesting. Okay, so, yes, this is some mind-blowing stuff right here. Okay, so those of you that are watching pile number 3, you've got Divine Will, Angelic Frequency, New Earth Codex, and New Paradigm Creations Ask for New Rules. And this is some mind-blowing new paradigm stuff for you. That is what is coming. New paradigm, New Earth frequencies are very strong for the next 6 weeks for you. And you're going to be really, I feel like for a lot of you it's going to be really important to tune in with the Divine Will. Okay, so the Divine Will isn't necessarily always separate from your will, though sometimes it is. Sometimes there are situations in which our egos may fight back against certain things, but once we sort of attune more towards our higher self, then this divine will is a lot more aligned to our personal will and our free will, for example. And still, we still have free will even though divine will exists. So that's kind of the difference there. And so, yes, the divine will always respect your free will. However, it will always help us when we allow ourselves to hear what the divine has in store for us. And this doesn't necessarily mean that we have to always accept certain things that we're getting, you know, from the divine, for example, because we can negotiate these things always. We can maybe tweak some things up if it's something that, you know, we really don't want to do, right? But usually the divine will give us sort of instructions as to what is the most aligned next step for us. And most of the time the divine will also, like I said, it always respects our free will, and it is more likely that we will get options, okay, because we are talking about an infinite source of divine lights, of divine essence. And it seems that those of you that are watching this are going to be a lot more attuned to what that essence is, and you're going to be feeling this essence pouring through your life stream, and also the angelic frequency. That's very interesting that you have the angelic frequency here as well. So the most pure frequencies of the angelic kingdoms are going to be really relevant for your journey for the next 6 months. So you're sort of going into this angelic immersion, and most likely this also plays into how you are supporting this new paradigm, okay, and these new earth frequencies, how you're helping anchor those into these realms, and how that angelic frequency plays a part in that, because oh my god, I get so distracted. Somebody just freaking ran into the bus from like a very far away, so that was funny. Maybe that's a message for some of you. Maybe you are running towards running yes, a launch. Some of you might be having like a launch into this new paradigm. Yeah. that's fucking hilarious. But yeah, some of you might be experiencing this launch, this jump start into this new paradigm and into these new earth frequencies by the power of the divine will and by the power of the divine essence. So the divine is really, it seems like it's launching these people that are watching the part number 3. It's launching you into a new adventure. That's the sense that I'm getting here, and it does seem like you are going to be helping anchor in angelic frequencies and seeing how that plays into this new paradigm thing. But again, remember that when we speak about angels, it isn't necessarily always the same as in, for example, the Bible or some old sort of outdated ideas on what the angels are. So it's going to be really important for you to be a pure conduit and be a pure channel in order to receive those angelic codes, as well as the New Earth Codex, right? This is also like a light code art. So you're going to be able to feel the New Earth frequencies from this card as well. The thing about these cards, anyway, they are also vessels for frequency. Ooh, but yes, it's going to be important for you to become a pure conduit for those frequencies, so that these angelic frequencies will be, again, they will be more accurate, and they will be more, again, pure. They will be integrated into the Earth's energy field in a way that really serves the new paradigm, and it's going to allow for also you to experience your angelic self. Okay, so that's just the message that's coming through. It's like some of you are activating your angelic self as a part of this new earth sort of service that you got going on. And it's going to really help you to do things again in a new way, because a lot of the times when we see this sort of angelic frequency spoken about, it is just either people channeling the angels or they are sort of communicating with them, but not a lot of people think about embodying the frequency of their angelic self, or embodying their angelic DNA, activating their angelic DNA, and sort of being the vessel and just being the embodiment of an angel or an earth angel. And so what I do feel like here is that you might be bringing in some new Earth Angel codes, like some Earth Angel upgrades into these realms. And what I'm sensing here is like there's this layer of the new Earth that is going to be receiving these new codes here, and then it's going to be a part of the embodiment of the new Earth codes for the planet Earth itself, for Mother Gaia. And so then the Earth will sort of embody these angelic light codes as a vessel as well. And I'm feeling like that is part of the process that you are facilitating here for this new era of humanity, for this new Earth era and this new paradigm. And a part of the new way is, yes, indeed, it is embodiment, and it is mastery. And for you, this seems to really just revolve around these very specific frequencies of angels, of divine will, and even just the new Earth and the new paradigm. They can also be frequencies themselves, but it's interesting how specific this one is for you. There is also new aspects of the new Earth reality that you are anchoring in. And there's going to be a new way to relate to the new Earth through your work or through your own exploration. You might be having a new way to relate to the new Earth through the workings that you are doing, whether it's for you, whether it's for your service, whether it's for whatever else. But for whatever reason, it's giving strong service frequencies. That's why I have been saying it throughout this. It doesn't necessarily have to be like a business or anything, but it's like I'm getting such a strong service frequency for the people that are watching pile number 3 that it's like that's just the vibe that's coming through. And if you're hesitant, just remember that it's going to be for the greater good of all, and it's only going to bring good things into this world, really, as long as you are being responsible, as long as you are being really intentional with what you're channeling, and intentional with, again, considering highest good of all involved always, not trying to force your will. Again, don't force your will at other people especially. So if other people are involved, this is where like the divine will is going to be also at play. So the divine will can also act there as sort of a liaison, if that makes sense. But my general recommendation is don't push against other people's free will, unless there is like let's say, I mean, those cases are very rare, very extreme, but there are certain situations where we might need to interfere, but those are very rare situations. It's like very extreme cases where that happens, but just as a general rule, remember to respect other people's free will as well, while you stay in touch with the divine will. So, that is your reading. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope this was helpful. If it was, drop me a comment below. And if you're new to the channel, subscribe. And if you would like to perhaps get a reading like this, just personalized, just for you and nobody else will see it, then sign up to my newsletter. I will let people know about my services over there on those newsletters, so you will be the first to know when readings become available again. So thank you for listening, and I will see you in the next video. Stay inspiring and stay curious.